All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we are looking at the MCP connector for Notion. Listen, if your team uses Notion, you already know your workspace is an absolute goldmine of meticulously built data. But getting Claude to actually analyze that data, well, historically that's been a friction-filled nightmare. Today, we're talking about how to completely eliminate that wall between your data and your AI.
Think about how we used to do this. Getting Claude's help meant manually copying these massive walls of text from Notion, pasting them into the chat, and just kind of hoping it fit the context limits, right? It was easily a 4-minute lag of just pure manual labor. But with the MCP connector, you type literally one prompt, Claude hooks into your live data, and 18 seconds later, you've got your answer. Zero copying, zero pasting. It's a real game changer.
And the speed at which this technology evolved is honestly staggering. To put it into perspective, back in August of 2025, getting these two to talk meant editing complex JSON config files on a locally hosted server. Yikes. By November, it had matured into an official partner connector. And today, that whole setup has collapsed into a simple 2-minute OAuth flow. It's the exact same secure, one-click sign-in you already use for Google or Slack.
So, what's actually powering this behind the scenes? It's MCP, the Model Context Protocol. Basically, it's an open standard that connects AI models directly to external tools. And the absolutely crucial part here is that Anthropic hosts this connection on their end, so no server software for you to maintain. And if you're worried about security, don't be. Claude only ever accesses data that your specific account can already see. This integration is live right now across web, desktop, and mobile for anyone on the Pro, Max, Team, or Enterprise plans. Okay, let's dive into this. How does this actually transform a real-world workflow? Imagine you're a product manager tracking feature requests. Normally, getting ready for sprint planning means exporting your databases to spreadsheets, sorting rows forever, and dropping screenshots into Slack. It's 20 minutes of manual data entry for information that's literally stale the second you hit export. Here's how MCP completely flips the script.
With the connector active, our PM just types a single, plain English prompt. Read my feature request database and create a summary table grouping items by priority. Instantly, and I mean instantly, Claude queries the live database and generates a perfectly formatted markdown table. Dark mode requested by Sarah, high priority. Pulled straight out of Notion. There are no spreadsheet exports and everything is perfectly up to date. Suddenly, any non-technical stakeholder can get a structured view on demand.
Now, to build this into your daily ops, you need to know exactly when to reach for it. You definitely want to use the connector for querying live databases, summarizing pages that change constantly, or drafting release notes directly from your sprint tickets. But keep in mind, you should avoid it if you're on a free plan, if you're just looking at a static, one-off document where copy-pasting is honestly faster, or for public internet searches.
Okay, here is a huge pro tip for you. Every single time the connector queries Notion, it consumes tokens, which eats into your usage limits. If you're working in a massive enterprise workspace, asking Claude to just scan everything is super inefficient. Instead, you want to narrow your queries. Point it to specific databases or exact page names. It runs dramatically faster and preserves your limits for when you really need them. And that really brings us to the core takeaway here. The Notion MCP connector literally turns your workspace from a static, manual source into a live context that Claude can query and write to directly. We are talking about a fundamental shift. You're moving from static text to a living, breathing AI collaborator. You just provide a plain English prompt, and you get real-time structured intelligence built from your actual live data.
It's pretty mind-blowing that a simple 2-minute setup can fundamentally alter how a team operates on a daily basis. So, the question I'll leave you with is this. Are you ready to let an AI be the live interface for your most critical databases? If you want to dive deeper, we've got 3 fully worked examples and a guide on common pitfalls to avoid over at claudemaster.net. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Now go connect that workspace.